From family events to volunteer opportunities to community happenings, there is a lot going on in your community. Learn about all the possibilities and opportunities on this episode of Community Hotline.
Hi, welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel, and I'm your host here at Metro East Community Media. Happy to have you join us tonight. And remember, we are on Facebook, so be sure to go there and like us on our Facebook page. Tonight, I have with us a couple of people representing Metropolitan Family Service. I'd like to introduce you to Drew Wilson. Nice to have you here, Drew.
Thank you.
And Donald Moran.
Right.
Donald, you are a volunteer, correct?
That's correct.
And Drew, you are the lead transportation assistant at Metropolitan Family Service.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Now, Drew, maybe I can start with you for a minute if that's okay. Tell me a little bit about Metropolitan Family Service, what exactly your mission is, what it is you do in the community.
Well, we're there to strengthen families and individuals to help them keep in contact with the community. We help families, children, and older adults. And we help the older adults, we help them keep their independence and connect to the community, get out, prevent isolation.
So it's really all about the families.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, whether now you're a single adult living by yourself or a child that's, you know, in any kind of situation, or just the family itself, it's all about helping people in need.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times the older adults end up helping the children, so we kind of group them together that way.
I like that.
So, yeah.
So there are different programs offered, quite a few actually, through Metropolitan Family Service. Am I correct?
There are.
Yeah. Can you name a few of them for me?
Project Linkage, that's the older adult programs.
And we'll talk about that a little more tonight.
Exactly. And then there's some that are in the schools. There's Sun and Cafe, and those are in the schools to help kids read or after-school programs. And then there's Ways to Work, which helps the parents and families of the children get, you know, different, either find jobs or get the transportation they need to help them so that then they can maintain their family of the kids that are in the school program. So
trying to take care of people.
Kind of link it up.
Yeah, good,
So,
good.
yeah.
Now, you are involved with the Project Linkage program.
Yes, that's
okay. And Don, you're a volunteer in that program.
That's correct.
Okay. Drew, tell me first just a little bit about what that program entails.
Well, Project Linkage is our programs that helps older adults. And so we do transportation to things like shopping, medical appointments, even if they want to just go visit someone or go somewhere for fun. Also, we have we have volunteers who ride along on the transportation, and they assist the shoppers. They go in the stores with them and help them go through, like Fred Meyer's or something, if it's real big and they're lost, or it's just a little hard to navigate, you know, a little hard to carry the heavy stuff. We also have home repair volunteers that do minor home repairs, things like plugged up sinks, a leaky faucet, you know, things that we can sort of just do in a quick fix type of thing.
Sure.
But some people get stuck and they're like,
Yeah.
their water bill's going up because their faucet's leaking, and we go try to help fix it if we can.
Something that maybe is not serious enough to pay a plumber a large fee for, maybe you can come and help them with it.
Exactly.
Okay. Or if I were to volunteer and I wanted to assist a shopper because I'm tall, I can get that stuff off the top shelf there. I can do that and help them carry some of the heavy stuff and that kind of thing. Okay. Now, Don, you have been involved with Project Linkage how long?
It's been a little bit over 2 years now. Yes.
Yeah?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And how did you find out about it?
Well, it was, I think it was closer to 3 years ago. There was an article in the newspaper I remember reading, and it talked about, this was Ride Connection was the one talking about it.
I'm very familiar with Ride Connection.
Yeah, and they said the need for volunteer drivers, and I said, well, you know, I'm retired and I have time, and I do a lot of driving. I've got an RV. We do a lot of that.
Yeah.
So,
You have to be
it's
a good
something I can do. So
driver.
anyway, I contacted them, and it took a long time. They did a very thorough security check of my driving record, any police records, this, that, everything else. Anyway, and contact every reference I put down. I found out
Really?
later they contacted, anyway. Then
That's good.
finally
That's
said,
good
well,
to hear,
okay.
actually.
Yeah. And, it made me feel good because I know they gave a very thorough examination to somebody who's going to be volunteering to work with older people that
I think that's
could
very
be taken
important.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because
It made an impression on me. And anyway, so in essence, I passed, and then they referred me to Metropolitan Family Services, which is in my neck of the woods, close to where I live.
Okay.
Because they needed a volunteer driver. And
So how does that work? You said there's Ride Connection and Metropolitan Family Services. You work together, or what is the setup there?
Yeah, it's a partnership. Ride Connection is another nonprofit in the Portland area. They're an umbrella program for our transportation services plus other organizations' transportation services. And so we work in partnership with them.
Okay, so if somebody needed assistance in getting somewhere, they could call either Metropolitan Family Service or they could call Ride Connection.
Exactly.
And possibly end up with Metropolitan
And
Family
Ride
Service.
Connection actually does, they do our scheduling of our transportation.
Oh, okay.
So that is actually who they call.
Okay.
And then we're either the provider of the service, or if they live in another area and it's a different provider, Red Cross or
Right.
Urban League or some other nonprofits, community centers around the area,
Okay.
they will link them up with whoever is in their area.
Wonderful. So one way or another, they're going to get some
Get them
help
a ride.
there.
We like to get them a ride.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Okay. So you were well qualified, Don, to do this volunteer work. How's it going for you? How do you like it?
Well, I like it a lot. There are a lot of aspects to it. One, I guess, before I started, I was a little bit concerned because we have lots of things we do with RV groups. And
talk about
I wanted to
your family.
volunteer. I didn't want to get myself committed. Well, I've got to do such and such every day of the
Yeah.
week, and and it might interfere with other things because I'm retired. We
Right,
have other things
right.
we want to do. Well, anyway, make a long story short, it works out so well in that, well, one, the dispatchers are so good. I'll get an email on a Wednesday of every week, and the dispatcher will say, Don, are there any days next week when you're available to drive?
Oh, so they work
good.
around your
now
schedule.
I can look at my
Okay.
calendar.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, hey, next week, say Tuesday and Friday is good for me. How's that, or whatever?
Yeah.
And that's the way it's scheduled. So I never feel that I have to do a certain amount.
Okay.
And the way it works out most weeks, I can volunteer 2 days a week, and
That's nice.
coordinate
That's-
that with my
yeah.
schedule. And so anyway,
That's
that
good.
way, from a scheduling standpoint, and my personal time, it works very well. Now then, when I am volunteering and driving, well, it's just, everybody you meet, the people you pick up, they are so thankful.
Oh, are they very appreciative?
Oh,
Yeah.
boy, Otherwise, because you pick up people, you have to go to their house. Some of them, some of them are in wheelchairs. We have
sure.
The vans are equipped to handle wheelchairs, or they're with their walkers. Or this one man I pick up is completely blind. I go up to the second floor in his apartment. He comes out and he takes my arm. We go down the steps.
yeah.
And also, he's my favorite one. Then I take him over across town to a convalescent house, and there's where his wife is bedridden, and his
okay.
wife,
Nice.
And there he sits there for an hour and a half or so. I usually pick him up later, or one of the other drivers, and takes him back home. But either at least once a week, he gets to see his wife.
That's great. That's great. Where otherwise he probably wouldn't.
Completely blind. There's no way. How could he do
Yes,
this? What
yes.
type of taxi service or anything else would
Yeah.
be able to do what we do?
Now, is there a fee for this?
No, we don't.
no.
Ours, it's,
Which
there's
is
no
another
fee.
good point.
Yeah,
because
it's another good point.
that's,
So,
I imagine there's a lot of people who can't afford it. I mean, to pay a
Exactly.
taxi would probably be pretty darn expensive.
exactly,
question.
exactly.
Yeah.
We take on some of our buses. Like I drive a shopping bus. That's my main thing. And we take donations. We always take donations actually
Sure.
of any kind. But I always tell them I don't keep track of who gives me a donation if in any way, and it's truly. It's a true donation. It's not expected in any way. And if you don't have anything, I'm like, just come on the bus.
Yeah.
We don't. You don't.
In
you
other
don't need
words, you're going to
anything.
get good service
So,
no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's the way it should be.
I noticed with some of my individuals I pick up, well, and some of them, you can tell, where they live and how they're dressed and where they're going. They are living on the edge.
Right, right.
And they'll pick it and drop it. And they'll say, well, I'd really, I'm a little bit short this week. I said, no, that's all right.
Yeah.
They feel so bad that they can't contribute.
Yeah, but they don't have to.
Exactly.
And we
They don't have to.
We don't ask them to. We say, no, that's perfectly all right. Don't worry about it.
Well, so
and others are very generous. Some of them will donate $10.
And they probably would all be generous if they could be.
That's
Don't you
right.
think they would all be generous if they could?
Exactly.
So speaking of the money, how are you funded?
And we're funded through different grants and donations. Some of our funding, and the grants some are filtered through Ride Connection, actually. That's part of how they help the transportation. And other grants just come in directly to Metropolitan Family Service and donations. And we also participate in a wine auction every year, and we send volunteers to help with that. Plus, other organizations do, and that's what it's for. It's a fundraising event, and so we get some of the funds that are raised there.
Good.
So we do different things like that.
You'd always be happy to take donations.
Always
sure.
happy.
Yeah.
Even donations, volunteers, we love it. That's what keeps us going, really.
So speaking of volunteers, what are the opportunities for volunteers? Obviously driving.
We have
Are
driving.
there other opportunities?
Sure. There's we have telephone reassurance callers, and those people call seniors that are mostly homebound, and they just want someone to call them and say hi and check in on them.
Check and make sure everything's okay with them?
Exactly.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's a really nice thing because you can just call from your home, take half an hour, 15 minutes, just call someone and say hi. I mean, otherwise they're at home alone with nothing, and so it's really nice.
I bet you some people that's the highlight of their day.
It is, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And then another one one of my favorites is we do a holiday cheer. And those is when we assemble gift bags.
Oh, nice.
Of things that we purchase some and a lot of it's donated, and we assemble gift bags and then we deliver them throughout the community.
Oh,
and
good.
that's, even if you don't have a lot of time to volunteer, it's a great thing. It's like you can just do it in December, volunteer to deliver gift bags, you take it to someone. Some of the people will save it until Christmas because it's the only gift they're going to get.
Oh.
And so usually I visit with them a little while if and they love it. They have a visitor, they have a present, and they save it, and it's really great.
I imagine that the human contact, whether it be by phone or the gift delivery or the transportation with people that are caring and, as nice as you two are, is probably something that really means a lot to a lot of people, especially those who are pretty much homebound a lot or maybe don't have a lot of people left in their life. Sometimes the older you get, you lose people, and, sometimes there aren't that many around. So I imagine that is every bit as important, or maybe more important than just the ride itself.
It is. And they also become friends, they get friendships with the other people. If they're on a bus, one of the buses that we have, they're 14-passenger buses, so we usually have, 5 to 10 people on there at a time because we do group trips. That's how we design the trips on those.
Okay, yeah.
And so they'll get to be friends with the people on the other riders on the bus. And
that's great.
Some people go if they don't have to shop, they just go so they can visit.
For the camaraderie. And hey, why not?
And they always tell me they love to ride because they get to see Portland.
Yeah.
They get to see places they've been when they were younger that they can't get out as much anymore. So
you have some regulars then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I bet that's
There's
great.
a lot of regulars.
Yeah.
So.
And they get to know you too. Yeah.
And it helps keep their independence. Even people who have family, they don't need to
always call
their family. It's like they can schedule their own ride and get to the store and get their groceries. And so for them, that's good because it helps them remain independent.
Good.
So.
Well, what else do we need to know? If somebody is interested then in volunteering, you said they should call Ride Connection first, or call directly to Metropolitan Family
if they're
Service?
interested in volunteering, they should just call Metropolitan Family Service. And Heather Pruis is the volunteer coordinator, so they can ask for her or just call and we'll transfer her around. It's a very friendly, casual office environment. So if they don't know where they're calling, just call and we'll get you there.
Okay.
If they and then if they would like a ride, someone who out there who needs a ride, they should call Ride Connection.
Okay.
And then Ride Connection will take care of their registration and scheduling, and either direct them to us, or like I said, if they live in a different part of town, they'll direct them to the service provider of that area.
And the part of town you work in, is it mostly the east side of Portland?
Yeah,
The
so
Metropolitan
it's
service up to like 160 seconds, something like that? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, but
So-
but all of East.
All the
Portland pretty
areas,
much?
and we still will give people rides out of that area, but that's where the people live.
That's where the pickup area
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
So-
Well, we're just about out of time here, so I want to reiterate that if people are interested in getting rides or getting some help that way, that they can contact you. If they're interested in volunteering, that your volunteer opportunities are pretty varied. You can do the weekly thing like you do a couple times a week. You can do more than that, I'm sure.
Right.
Exactly.
But as little as maybe just delivering gifts around Christmas time.
That's right.
Or
Yeah.
the calling can be something you can do from your home.
Yeah.
I mean, how easy is that? People want to volunteer, and I think, as we all know, from volunteering, you get more back out of it than you ever put into it. But to be able to do that from your home, I mean, how easy could that be?
Yeah, it's great. It's
Although
great.
imagine
And
you get stuck on some of those phone calls a little
we're
longer
pretty
than
good
you
at
planned on.
we're pretty good at matching the volunteer with the appropriate volunteer experience that's going to suit them
Right.
and their needs and what they're available, along with what we need as volunteers. So
That's
it's
important.
nice that way.
That's
yeah.
important, good. And it sounds like they do a very good, thorough job of checking out the volunteers to make sure that they're
Yeah.
they're somebody that you want to be out there working with
Exactly.
the people.
They
so-
want to check because it is
Yeah,
a
that's
vulnerable
good.
population.
Yeah,
that
sure
we
it
work
is.
with,
Sure
so.
it is. Okay. Well, thank you both so much, Drew
You're
and Don,
welcome.
for
Thank
being
you.
on here tonight. I appreciate it. And we'll have the information up on the screen, so if people are interested in contacting you. And if you have questions for either of these people here or Metropolitan Family Service, you can go to our website, go to our blog, our community hotline blog. You can ask questions there. We'll make sure they get them and can answer those for you. So thank you for watching this segment of Community Hotline. Don't go away. We'll be right back in just a few minutes with the Sandy Actors Theater.